There's a quiet kind of wisdom that no one ever asked for. The kind that grows in children who had to become young before they were ready. Maybe you've met one. The kid who always seemed mature for their age. The one who comforted their parents, solved problems they didn't create, or read feelings like subsistence maps. They weren't born old. They just learned early that peace isn't guaranteed. It has to be maintained. When life around you feels unstable, you adapt. You become the peacemaker, the listener, the one who never causes trouble. You grow careful instead of carefree. And somewhere between the broken routines and the hefty silences, something inside you quietly decides, if no one else will protect me, I'll protect myself. But what does that do to a soul still learning how to dream? Because growing up too fast isn't about age. It's about the instant a child realizes they can't afford to be one. And while the world applauds them for their strength, what they don't see is the cost. A lifetime spent expecting danger that no longer exists. A heart that flinches at love because it remembers duty. This is not just a story about childhood. It's a story about identity, survival, and the courage it takes to finally feel safe again. It begins subtly, not with tragedy, but with responsibility. Maybe a parent was struggling, emotionally, financially, mentally. Maybe there was addiction, or quiet sadness, or simple neglect. Or maybe the home looked perfect from the outside, while inside, everyone was performing calm over chaos. And in that silence, the child learns, my needs come last. My feelings can wait. My job is to make sure everyone else is okay. Psychologists call it parentification, when a child becomes the caretaker of the people meant to care for them. But beneath the label lies something deeper, a rewiring of the nervous system, a permanent state of emotional vigilance. They become masters of reading the room. They anticipate tone shifts, decode facial expressions, sense the storm before it hits. It's survival. Elegant, invisible, relentless. But first it looks like maturity. Teachers praise it. Adults admire it. You're so responsible. You're so understanding. But no one asks, who taught you to be this way? Because the answer is often pain. Every child needs two things to grow freely: safety and permission. Safety to feel what they feel. Permission to not always be strong. When those are missing, the child creates their own form of order, emotional self-control. They build a world they can manage, even if that means abandoning their own chaos. They become the fixer, the mediator, the emotional translator of the household. But there's a cost. When you grow up in survival mode, peace feels foreign. When life finally calms down, you don't know what to do with it. So you recreate chaos, not because you want to suffer, but because calm feels unsafe. Philosophers like Carl Jung called this the adapted self, the persona we construct to be loved, accepted, or useful. But the longer you live through that mask, the more you forget who's underneath it. And that's what happens to a child who grows up too fast. They become experts at adaptation and strangers to authenticity. They enter adulthood with habits that look like virtues: perfectionism, independence, empathy. But beneath them hides exhaustion, loneliness, and fear. Fear of being a burden, fear of being seen as too much, fear of being loved for who they truly are, not for what they do. Let's talk about the emotional psychology behind it. When a child constantly regulates others, their brain wires around hyper-vigilance. The stress hormone, cortisol, becomes a familiar rhythm. Even years later, as adults, they may find it impossible to relax, not because they're broken, but because their body learned that calm is dangerous. The result? An adult who overthinks everything, who can't celebrate without guilt, who apologizes for existing, because somewhere in their mind, peace still feels temporary. But there's another layer, the moral one. Growing up too fast doesn't just steal innocence. It distorts the meaning of love. For these adults, love often equals duty. Affection equals work. They feel valuable when they're fixing, rescuing, or understanding others. They gravitate toward people who need saving, not because they're naive, but because saving feels familiar. It's the only language of love they know. But love built on responsibility isn't intimacy. It's repetition, a quiet echo of childhood trying to resolve itself. And until that pattern is broken, the child within them keeps searching for the parent they never had in everyone they meet. So how do you heal something that started before you had words for it? The answer isn't easy, but it is possible. Healing begins not with strength, but with softness, not with control, but with surrender. Step 1. Recognize the pattern. Notice how often you take responsibility for other people's emotions, how often you hide pain behind productivity, how often you say, "I'm fine," when you're not. Awareness is the first rebellion. It's the moment you realize you're still living by childhood rules in an adult world. Step 2. Reclaim permission. Permission to rest, to ask for help, to disappoint people, to let others carry you, even for a while. Because healing is not about unlearning strength. It's about learning softness without fear. And step 3, reparent yourself. This isn't just a metaphor, it's neuroscience. When you comfort your inner child, when you speak to yourself with patience, allow play, allow rest, you rewire your emotional circuitry. You teach your body that safety can exist without performance, but love can exist without earning. Psychologists like Donald Winnicott described this as the good enough parent, not perfect, but present. When you learn to give that presence to yourself, you stop needing others to prove you're worthy of care.
You might ask, but won't I lose my strength? You'll just stop mistaking tension for resilience. You'll still be empathetic, but it won't drain you. You'll still be responsible, but you'll know where you end and others begin. You'll still love deeply, but from abundance, not depletion. And slowly, something extraordinary happens. You begin to feel young again. Not childish, but free. Free to laugh without purpose, to rest without guilt, to be cared for without fear. The truth is, the child who grew up too fast never truly disappears. They live inside you, watching, waiting, protecting. And one day, when you finally slow down enough, you'll hear them whisper, "Can we play now?" That's the moment you've been healing toward. Not to erase the past, but to integrate it. To give that child what they always needed. A sense of safety within your own skin. There's a paradox to all of this. The people who grew up too fast often become the gentlest souls on earth. They know what pain feels like, so they spend their lives trying to make sure no one else feels it. But sometimes, gentleness turns into self-erasure, and the greatest act of love you can offer the world is to finally extend that gentleness inward. You are not weak for wanting rest. You are not selfish for wanting joy. You are not lazy for wanting peace. You are simply remembering what it means to be human. Healing doesn't happen in a straight line. It happens in layers. One day you'll feel free. The next you'll feel 10 years old again. That's not regression. That's repair. That's your nervous system trusting you enough to release what it once buried. Let it. Let the tears come. Let the silence soften you. Because every emotion you've ever buried is a letter from your younger self, asking to be read at last. Philosopher Alan Watts once said, "You can only fall from the tightrope when you forget it's okay to dance." And maybe that's what healing is. Learning to dance on the same rope that once held you captive. You can't undo the past, but you can rewrite the meaning it holds. You can look at that child, the one who grew up too fast, and instead of seeing damage, you can see devotion. The devotion to survive,
to love, even when love wasn't safe, to keep hope alive when no one else did. That child didn't ruin you. They saved you. Now it's your turn to return the favor. So breathe. You are no longer the caretaker of everyone else's storms. You are the sky they pass through. The world will not collapse if you stop holding it. It will adjust. And maybe, for the first time, so will you. Because healing doesn't mean becoming who you were before. It means becoming who you were meant to be all along, once the weight is gone. So take the hands of your younger self, smile softly, and whisper, "We made it." Then, finally, rest.